Okay. So, till where we have covered yesterday?
Ma'am, we did until the
Until
Veins, up to veins.
okay, you
Classification
were
of the blood
searching for
vessels.
it. Yes, please repeat.
Yes, ma'am. Classification of blood vessels up to veins.
Okay, very good. Classification of blood vessels up to veins. And what are the furthermore arterial and veins?
Your voice is cracking.
My voice is cracking.
voice.
Now it's okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I am asking that what are the further divisions of arteries and veins?
arterioles and venules.
Yes. And what are the common terminology for arterioles and venules?
Capillaries.
Very good. So now
I'm
I'm
somewhere
sharing my
outside, so I might not be able to talk because there's noise around, and I'm also not carrying my books.
no problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Yes. Yes. Till this slide we have covered yesterday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now see, this is the pathway. Means from heart through artery and arterioles, blood is coming to each and every cell, each and every tissue of body, and then from those tissues, from those each and every cells of body, blood is also being collected from venules, and through venules they are being collected to veins, and they are being sent to heart. So this is the pathway. Now, what are the differences between veins and arteries? The main difference is veins move towards the heart, arteries move away from the heart. And other differences are collects blood from body organs. Yes, veins collect blood from body organs, but arteries distribute the blood to body organs. Blood pressure in veins is low. Blood pressure in arteries are high because of more rigidity in arteries. Arteries are more thick. Walls of arteries are more thick than the walls of veins and more rigid in comparison to veins. So, blood pressure in arteries are more in comparison to veins. And one very important difference, that is bulbs are present in veins to prevent the gravitational pull, but it is not present in arteries. Okay. And next is generally veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein, and arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So this is a very important question. Which vein or which artery, means which vein carry oxygenated blood and which artery carry deoxygenated blood? The answer is pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. Veins start in blood capillaries, but arteries end in capillaries. Okay, means where arteries are ending, from that point veins are starting. They can be seen subcutaneously, means veins can be seen subcutaneously. Subcutaneous means beneath the skin, just beneath the skin. You can see your veins in your hand, right? You can see clearly veins in your hands or some other parts of your body. Means veins are just beneath the skin. That is the term subcutaneously. And arteries are deep seated. Arteries are not just beneath the skin. They are a bit deep in body. Veins collapse when there is no blood in it or cut across. But arteries do not collapse when there is no blood in it, because arteries are rigid. Right? We have already discussed that arteries are a bit rigid and they are having a good muscular wall. But veins do not have that. That is why veins collapse when there is no blood in venules. And veins are further divided into venules, arteries further divided into arterioles. Veins are usually flattened or collapsed with thin walls. While arteries are round and relatively thick walled. Yes, we have already discussed that arteries are a bit thick, and in comparison to arteries, veins are a bit thin, and arteries are round while veins are a bit flattened. Veins have large lumen, arteries have small lumen. Lumen means the inner lining of, means inner wall of vein, means vessel or any organ. That is lumen, means the innermost part where mucus is present. Okay, so that is lumen. So veins are having large lumen. Obviously, veins are thin. So the diameter or the space inside the vein is more. That is why veins are having large lumen, but arteries are having small lumen. Veins are bluish in color. Arteries are reddish in color. Veins show sluggish movement of blood. Arteries show spurty movement of blood giving pulse. Okay. Means veins are a bit sluggish. Veins provide a bit sluggish movement of blood. But arteries show spurty movement, because arteries are getting the pressure from the pumping of heart. Okay. And the last difference is, means the main difference between veins and arteries are, if venous wall is injured, blood comes out, collects in a pool in a small area around vein. If arterial wall is injured, then blood comes out like a fountain in large area all around the artery. Okay, means that is because arteries are having much more pressure than in comparison to veins. So when just imagine a pipe having greater pressure, and beside that pipe pipe having lesser pressure, means two pipes are kept in beside each other. Two pipes are kept beside each other, and being fluid is being passed through those pipes. The right side pipe is having more pressure, and left side pipe is having less pressure. So when we will cut out the right side pipe, with force the fluid will come out, right? When the pressure is more, then when we will cut down the pipe, then it will come out with a force, with a greater force. But when we will cut down the left side pipe, then it will not come out with such force. Like that only. Okay, so when the pipe with lesser force will not provide the fountain like structure, will not provide, sorry for the screen, yes, will not provide the force like fountain. So that is the difference between artery and vein, where arteries are having much pressure or greater pressure in comparison to vein. That is why when arteries are being injured, then a fountain or large area around the artery comes out. Means blood comes out from artery just like fountain. But in case of veins, it's not like fountain. It is being collected just like a pool. Now, circulatory system mainly consisting of heart, blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillaries. We all know these terminologies, right? So, because of these supportive or these organs, blood is being circulated throughout the body. Now, this is the structure of heart. You can see. Now, this is the location, the physiological location of heart. The heart is located in the thoracic cavity, posterior to the sternum. Now tell me, what is the sternum?
The bone in the middle of the ribs.
Yes, very good. The bone or chest bone, also known as sternum. So behind the sternum, heart is present, superior to diaphragm. Now what is diaphragm?
The muscle which separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity.
Very good. So superior to diaphragm means above the diaphragm, behind the sternum, and between the lungs. Okay. So the tip of heart is called the apex. Apex is about 9 semi to the middle at the level of fifth intercostal muscle. The base extends to the level of second rib. Okay, means the base of heart is starting from second rib, and it is the apex of heart is ending at the midline at the level of fifth intercostal muscle. And the weight of heart in males are 280 to 340 grams, and in females it is 230 to 280 in grams. Okay, a bit difference is seen in case of gender as usual, because male are a bit muscular than in comparison to female. Now, anatomy of heart. The layers of heart or the wall of heart is divided by 3 layers. Those are pericardium, endocardium, and myocardium. Now tell me with your common sense, and we have already discussed earlier, what is peri, what is endo, and what is myo? Can you tell?
Ma'am, endo is the myo
Yes.
is the innermost layer. Endo is above that, and peri is the outermost one.
Is it like that? Are you sure?
No, ma'am. Endo is the outermost.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? What is peri?
Peri, isn't it the outermost one?
Yes, peri is the outermost, and myo is the middle, and endo is the innermost. Okay. So peri will be always the outermost. Myo, M for myo, M for middle. And endo means the inner side, inner wall. Okay. Now, heart is having 4 chambers, 2 atrium, 2 ventricles. Those are right and left. You can see in this picture, right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Now, these atriums and ventricles are being divided by or being separated by valves. Now, how many valves would be there? Means in between right atrium and right ventricle, there is a valve known as tricuspid valve. Why it is known as tricuspid? Because three cup-like structure, means a valve is divided into three flaps. Okay, that is why it is known as tricuspid. Means the door, the valve is acting like door only, right? Means the valve is allowing the blood to come down from right atrium to left atrium. Sorry, right atrium to right ventricle. The valve is allowing the blood to come down from right atrium to right ventricle. So it is acting like a door only. So the door or the valve is having three parts. That is why it is known as tricuspid. And the valve between left atrium and left ventricle is known as bicuspid or mitral valve. Okay. So this is an important question. Which valve is known as mitral valve? That is valve between left atrium and left ventricle. And this is also known as bicuspid because this valve is having only two flaps or two separations. So, important question, mitral valve, that is bicuspid valve present between left atrium and left ventricle. Now, another valve is aortic valve, that is present in the mouth of or in the opening of aorta. And another valve, that is pulmonary valve, that is present in the pulmonary artery. Okay. So, is this clear? The concept and the picture?
Aortic valve, where is it, ma'am?
Aortic valve is in the opening of aorta. That is, aorta means the blood vessel or the main blood vessel which is delivering the blood from heart towards the body. Means the main blood vessel that is transferring blood from heart to the body. This aorta is being further divided into arteries, arterioles, capillaries. Okay, so this is the main blood vessel which is by which oxygenated blood is being collected from heart.
Which one, ma'am? Aortic?
Yes,
Pulmonary valve is the valve that is used for sending the blood from the lung to the heart.
yes. No, pulmonary artery is the artery or blood vessel.
Pulmonary valve is the valve between the lung and the heart, is it?
No, no. Pulmonary valve is present in the opening of pulmonary artery. Means where the in right ventricle, means from right ventricle blood is going to lungs, right? Means deoxygenated blood is coming to heart through superior vena cava. You can see in this picture. Now understand the concept of circulation through heart. Deoxygenated blood is being collected to veins, and then it is being collected at right atrium through superior vena cava. Right? You can see in this picture right atrium. Now, this deoxygenated blood is being passed to right ventricle for Now, from this right ventricle, this deoxygenated blood is going to lungs through pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is connected from right ventricle of heart to lungs. So from right ventricle means in between right ventricle and pulmonary artery, the pulmonary valve is present. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, where you said tricuspid is on the right side and it has three cup-shaped um, something that stops the
Yes,
blood, right?
yes, it is. Means you have seen those are divided into two, upper side and lower side in home or in windows, right? Or what you call the actually the doors, not how I can. In Bengali, it is said as palla, means that is made up of wooden blocks or the door, the wooden part of door. That sometimes that is divided into two parts, upper side and lower side, or it is divided into left and right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
So the upper side and the lower side is separated by the tricuspid valve.
right atrium and right ventricle is separated by tricuspid valve.
That
Okay.
is a single valve, right, ma'am?
Yes, that is a single valve, but that valve is being separated into three flaps. Means three flaps are collectively known as tricuspid valve.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so means you can see here only two flaps. Mm, concentrate in this picture.
Yeah, there are only two in this.
You can see only two because it is a two-dimensional picture. But if it will be three-dimensional, then or HD, then you can see the third one at back side of this. Okay, just like a triangle.
Yes, ma'am.
So blood, deoxygenated blood is being collected from superior vena cava to right atrium, then being passed to right ventricle, and from right ventricle, deoxygenated blood is going to lungs through pulmonary artery, and from lungs, oxygenated blood is coming through pulmonary vein to left atrium, and then these left ventricle, and from left ventricle this aorta is generated and oxygenated blood is being reached throughout the body through aorta.
What is the biggest valve in the body, ma'am? Is it
Biggest,
aorta? Which is the
are you
biggest, thickest valve in the body?
are you asking about vessel or valve?
Valve.
I don't know about the valve because valve is not only present in heart. There are so many types of valves in throughout the body. You can see valve in the ileocecal region in digestive system. Pyloric valve is also there. So many types of valves are present in body. So I don't know about the exactly which one is largest
Okay,
or
ma'am.
thickest. Okay. Now layers of heart in details. At first, pericardium. The heart is surrounded by fibrous sac called the pericardium. The function of pericardium is to limit cardiac distension and restriction excessive movement, to protect and lubricate. The pericardium is composed of visceral pericardium, parietal pericardium, pericardial cavity, and then fibrous pericardium. You can see in this picture how the layer is being separated, or how the layers are collectively working, or how they seem like. At the outermost portion, fibrous pericardium, then parietal pericardium, then pericardial cavity, then visceral layers of cirrus or epicardium, then endocardium, means then myocardium, and then endocardium. Okay, so pericardium is also being divided into different things. That is the fibrous pericardium outermost, then parietal pericardium just behind the fibrous pericardium, and then pericardial cavity. Then second layer is myocardium. It is the middle or
The last
thickest.
one is also a layer, ma'am. Go back to the previous slide.
Yes.
The last one is also a layer, is it? Fibrous.
No, it comes under pericardium only.
Okay. So when we are remembering these, should we remember them as 3 or 4?
These
Visceral,
are three only. These are
parietal.
three. Under pericardium, under the division of pericardium, it is being separated, or it is means pericardium is further divided into fibrous pericardium and parietal pericardium, and then pericardial cavity is present in between pericardium and visceral series or epicardium. Okay.
So pericardial cavity is not a kind of a layer, right? It is something something like a hollow space between two layers.
Yeah, it is not a layer, but it comes under pericardium only, because just behind the pericardium cavity,
Pericardial cavities between which layers, ma'am?
pericardial cavity is in between pericardium. Just behind pericardial cavity, epicardium is there, and then after epicardium, myocardium is starting. Okay, means epicardium is the last or end portion of pericardium.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture on the left side,
Yes.
ma'am.
Look at the picture. At the outermost layer, that is fibrous pericardium. Then just behind fibrous pericardium, it is parietal pericardium. Then after pericardium, just after parietal pericardium cavity is present. Okay. Then just behind pericardium cavity, epicardium is present. Now, from fibrous pericardium to epicardium, it is the collective terminology pericardium. Okay,
Yeah.
is it clear?
Yes. Can you zoom in a little bit, ma'am? Zoom out. I mean, zoom out. Zoom
Okay.
out, ma'am. Zoom out.
Okay.
So the first layer is fibrous pericardium, and
Hmm.
beneath that there is parietal,
Hmm.
and the third one is pericardial cavity,
Hmm.
and under that there is visceral layer which is called as pericardium.
Epicardium.
Okay, epicardium. So under the cavity there is epicardium, and under the epicardium there's and then
Myocardium.
and finally there's endo.
Yes. So from fibrous pericardium to epicardium, it is collectively known as pericardium.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
behind this epicardium, myocardium is present, or the second layer of heart wall. So it is the middle layer and thickest layer of heart. Contains muscle fibers which are responsible for pumping. Here is the main muscle fibers of heart which are responsible for pumping, or which are responsible for the energy or the uh, force created by heart, pressure created by heart. So contraction of this layer allows blood to be pumped throughout the blood vessels. Okay, when these layers are being contracted, then it allows blood to be pumped throughout the blood vessels. Means when this myocardium layer is being contracted, then blood is being pumped out from heart. Now, last layer or the innermost layer is endocardium. That is the deepest layer of heart. Lines the heart chambers and the walls. Smooth, thin lining to reduce friction of blood flow through the chambers. Okay, this is the smooth and thin lining which reduce the friction of blood flow through chambers. Cardiac conduction system located in this layer means cardiac conduction system. Conduction in the sense the electrical impulses are being supplied in this layer only. Now, coronary artery and veins. The heart receives its own supply from blood from coronary artery and coronary veins that remove waste products from heart. Okay, this is the concept like if if one electrical office, like imagine a city or imagine a town, and in that city there is a electric office from where all the electricity of that city is being administrated, right? Like that only we are having one heart in our body from where all the circulations of blood throughout the body is being administrated. Now, that electric office also need electricity of for its own use. Means the electric office is supplying electricity throughout the city. But that electric office also need electricity for its own use. Like that only, heart is supplying blood throughout the body. But heart also need blood for its own use, for its own survival. So, heart is being supplied by coronary artery. Means for its own, heart is supplying blood through coronary artery. Is it clear the concept? What is coronary artery?
Yes, ma'am. It is supplying, it's the artery which supplies the blood that is needed by the heart itself.
Yes. Yes. So walls of heart is being supplied through coronary artery and coronary vein. Means deoxygenated blood from heart walls are being connected by coronary vein. Now, two major coronary arteries branch off from aorta near the point where the aorta and the left ventricle meet. Okay, so where the branch is being separated for coronary artery, where the aorta and left ventricle meets. You can see in this picture where the left ventricle and aorta is meeting. From that portion only, a branch of vessel is being separated for coronary artery. Okay, now these arteries and their branches supply all parts of heart muscle with blood. Now, Left main coronary artery, also called left main trunk. The left main coronary artery branches into circumflex artery. Okay, the left main coronary artery branches into circumflex artery, left anterior descending artery. Means two branches of left main coronary artery are circumflex artery and left anterior descending artery. Now, the left coronary artery supplies, circumflex artery supplies blood to left atrium, side and back of left ventricle. Okay, means circumflex artery is supplying blood to left atrium, side and back of left ventricle. And left anterior descending artery supplies the front bottom of left ventricle and front of septum. Here you can see in this picture how
Just
from
go
where,
back to the previous slide, ma'am.
yes,
And just go into those 2 points, circumflex artery and the left anterior descending artery again.
should I repeat that?
Please, ma'am.
Okay. So, actually the coronary artery are branched into two, that are first left main coronary artery that is branched into circumflex artery and left anterior descending artery. Now, this circumflex artery supplies blood to left atrium and side and back of left ventricle. Okay, so left atrium and the side and back side of left ventricle is being supplied by circumflex artery, and the front and bottom of left ventricle and the front of septum is being supplied through left anterior descending artery. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, you can see in this picture from where arteries are being branched and where they are reaching. Okay, here is a clear conception. Pulmonary artery, means this circumflex artery is being branched from from the conjunction of aorta and ventricle, and the another one, right coronary artery, it is also being branched from aorta only. So this circumflex artery is supplying the left left atrium and some portion of left ventricle, and this right coronary artery is supplying this right side of heart, means right atrium and right ventricle. Now we will learn in detail about right coronary artery. The right coronary artery is branching into two, right marginal artery and posterior descending artery. The right coronary artery supplies right atrium, right ventricle, bottom part of both ventricles and back of septum. Okay. Now, collateral circulation. It is a network of tiny blood vessels and under normal conditions not open. When the coronary artery narrowed to the point that blood flow to the heart muscle is limited, coronary artery disease or collateral means when the heart muscle is not getting proper supply of blood or limited supply of blood, then it is because of coronary artery disease. Collateral vessels may enlarge and become active. In that case, collateral vessels may enlarge and become active. Okay, means collateral circulation or collateral vessels, they are very tiny blood vessels, and their generally do not open during normal circumstances or during normal conditions. When coronary artery is being narrowed and it is not able to supply blood sufficiently to heart, in that case collateral vessels may enlarge and become active. Okay, means it becomes active in some unnatural or unconditional condition, un, abnormal condition. When the heart is not getting sufficient blood from coronary artery, in that situation collateral circulation is being activated by body. This allows blood to
This
flow around.
condition called is this condition called as heart enlargement or something?
No, it's not heart enlargement. It is enlargement of vessels of collateral circulation.
Okay.
Only enlargement of vessels. Okay.
Right now.
This allows blood to flow around the blocked artery to another artery nearby or to the same artery past the blockage, protecting the heart tissue from injury. Now, coronary veins. The primary physiological function of coronary veins is to carry deoxygenated blood from myocardium to coronary sinus and empty them into chambers of heart. Okay, so the deoxygenated blood from coronary vein will also be deposited in the same place where from all from deoxygenated blood are being collected throughout the body. So where it is, where the deoxygenated blood is being collected in heart.
Coronary veins.
Yes.
It gets collected in the coronary vein.
No, it is being collected by coronary vein. That is in case of heart muscles.
The total body you're talking about, ma'am?
Yes.
Right atrium,
Superior right atrium and right
right
ventricle.
ventricle.
And it goes through the superior vena cava.
Yes. Very good. Well, if we combine both of your answers, then it is right. It is being collected through superior vena cava and it is being collected in right atrium. So, in case of coronary veins too, it will also be collected in right atrium only. So, the primary physiological function of coronary veins is to carry deoxygenated blood from myocardium to coronary sinus and empty them into chambers of heart. The coronary sinus is the largest cardiac vein with multiple smaller vessels converging into it. Okay. So, understood what is coronary sinus? You can see in this picture too. That is the largest cardiac vein with multiple smaller vessels converging into it. Multiple smaller vessels are being converged into coronary sinus. That is the largest coronary vein. You can see in this picture. This is coronary vein. Or, sorry, coronary sinus. Located along the left posterior anterioventricular groove, the coronary sinus empties directly into the right atrium through the coronary sinus orifice. The tribu- venous tributaries that merge into coronary sinus include great cardiac vein, middle cardiac vein, small cardiac vein, left posterior ventricular, and oblique cardiac vein. So all these veins are being merged into coronary sinus. Okay, now chambers of heart. Heart is divided into 4 chambers. Those are right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Okay. So in between, now you can see in this picture clearly what valves are. Now in this picture you can see mitral valve, that is bicuspid valve, is opening in two way, left and right. Okay, means the door is opening by opening of left and right flap. In case of tricuspid valve, there is a door in back side too. It's like a triangle. Okay, so tricuspid valve is between right atrium, right ventricle. Bicuspid or mitral valve is between left atrium, left ventricle. And the septum is dividing between these chambers. Atrial septum is dividing atrium and ventricular septum is dividing ventricles. Now, upper chambers are known as atrium. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from body, and through superior vena cava, yes, superior vena cava is situated at the head and upper body of right atrium, and inferior vena cava is situated at the lower portion of right atrium. Now, left atrium, it receives oxygenated blood from lungs through pulmonary vein. Now, lower chambers are right ventricle and left ventricle. Right ventricle receives deoxygenated blood as right atrium contracts. Left ventricle receives oxygenated blood as left atrium contracts. Okay. Now, valves of heart. The valves are located within the chambers of heart. The function of valves are to control the direction of blood flow. Okay, because means these valves are, now you can see in this picture clearly what is tricuspid and bicuspid. Here you can see in this picture, it is the three part of that door. Generally, all the valves are tricuspid, but only bicuspid valve or mitral valve is present between left ventricle and left atrium. Is to control the direction of flow. Means they allow unidirectional flow. Okay, means blood can flow from only atrium to ventricle. They prevent, means these valves prevent the backflow of blood. Means if backflow of blood happens, then the circulatory system will be hanged or being hijacked, right? So backflow should not be there. So backflow is being prevented by this valve. Now, four valves are there: tricuspid valve, pulmonic or pulmonary valve, mitral valve, and aortic valve. We have already discussed where these valves are present. Now, in detail, the tricuspid valve is an atrioventricular valve situated between atria and ventricle, controls the opening between right atrium and right ventricle. The mitral valve is an atrioventricular valve situated between atria and the ventricle, controls the blood between left atrium and left ventricle. Now, pulmonic or pulmonary valve.
Time, ma'am. It's just about to be 6.
Yes.
We have the next class, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So we will discuss tomorrow. about all this?
Ma'am, please share the slides today.
Okay. So, where is... We will stop, or we will conclude the class with prayer. Sit
Yes.
comfortably, upright your spine, close your eyes, adapt Namaskar Mudra in front of your chest, and start the prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now rub your palms